Hi, I'm William and you're welcome to my channel. This is Teacher William, and today I'm going to talk about how to teach a big class. Let's get right into it. So I don't know about you. I actually had a script made up for this, but I'm kind of tired to set up a teleprompter to do this. So I'm going to read to you from my iPad. We're going to go through this really quickly. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I'll give you my points straightforward, and then in this video, by the end, you should be able to know a few things to apply to your big class to make it more productive. So number one, let's talk about some pros, some things that are actually good about teaching a big class. And that is number one, it is fun, mainly because the demographics are really wide and you have a lot of high energy, low energy, you have fast, slow, you have all kinds of kids to deal with. Secondly is that it increases your sense of appreciation when you can learn that each and every child brings something different to the table. Lastly, it keeps me on my toes, and it should do for you as well, because you can't just do anything for the class. You have to constantly learn in order to produce something very impactful for the class. Now let's talk about the cons. This is something that obviously is troublesome to all of us. So for example, because it's a large class, obviously, and there's a huge variety, a lot of games will not apply to your class. A lot of individual games will not apply. So you're gonna have to play more group games. I learned this quite early. Number two is that you will never have full control of the whole class. Well, I'm gonna make a video very soon on class control, so be sure to check that out. Subscribe if you haven't. Subs to the channel will be really great at this time. So also you need a high level of energy to teach a big class, obviously because it's big. The character demographics, as I say, which can be a con, make it fun, can also make it more difficult to teach it, because there's slow kids, there's fast kids, there's kids who learn really fast, really slow. You're going to have to deal with all of them. And lastly, you never get through to each and every child, which is a sad truth, but you need to embrace and learn that. Because, well, no matter how hard you try, because of a lot of constraints, there's just no way to do this. Sorry. Okay, so let's talk about how to optimize things that make it more productive, more interesting, more fun, more impactful for your class. Number one is balance out your energy. Know where to put in more energy. For example, in something like warm-up, in something like playing games, you put in a lot of energy. In something like introducing the lesson, review, and other stuff, you should try to balance your energy so that you're not putting all your energy into one part and other parts of the lesson is suffering. Or if you teach multiple classes, you have to make sure you are not putting all your energy into one lesson and the other classes are suffering. So you need to learn to balance out your energy. That's number one. Number two is that teaching has to be in variable ways, because it's a huge class and every child learns in a different way. So for example, some children will learn very well through flashcard and flashcard games. Some children will learn audiovisually. Some children will learn with the songs and rhymes and stuff like that, with the sentences, even just by talking to them. So you have to make sure you know your class and you're applying each and every part of this into your lesson. The next thing is that you have to play more group games, which is quite obvious. If you play games which are meant for one child, the other children, you kind of lose their attention. And lastly, that I want to talk about is the demographics of your class, and you really need to know this. There's a top 10%, there's the middle 70%, who are the people, they're usually the people that the class should be curtailed for, should be focused on, because they're the majority. The top 10% will learn quite easily. The middle 10%, you have to push them along. And the low 10% will probably not, low 20%, sorry, will probably not get it during your class. So what I actually do is I apportion the last 10 minutes of my time in order to help these children, the lower 20%, to do a review, to help with pronunciation and stuff like that. So this is what I do. Very simple. Number one is I balance out my energy. Number two is I teach in variable ways. Number three is that I play more group games. And Lastly is that I use the demographics of my class, and I apportion time in order to deal with each and every child based on their, I don't want to say IQ or how fast or slow they learn. Yes, but you know what I mean. So how do you deal with your big class? You can leave your comments down below. Please do subscribe, and thank you for that. I'll see you in the next one. I'm Teacher William. Love and peace.